What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, Elliot and I are going to do our reaction to Loudwire's post that they did. It looks like last year, the 50 greatest pop punk albums of all time. I have not seen this yet. Elliot, I don't know if have you looked at it. This was kind of your idea here.
Yeah, I saw it a while ago. I remember it's pretty interesting, like the decisions they made, but I cannot remember what exactly they picked for the life of me. I remember what the number one record was. That's about it. So everything else is I don't remember where they rank things. So yeah, we're just gonna be reacting to this, giving our opinion. Should this record be in the top 50 greatest pop punk albums of all time? As you know, as two big old posers, two pop punk experts here. We'll be giving our opinion. Does Loudwire, is the staff at Loudwire, do they know what's good? Do they know what's up? We're about to find out. So,
And there's a good qualifier. This is pop punk album, so like it's a lot more. There's a lot more like leeway here. Based on the thumbnail, there's there's three right here that I would probably put in my top 50.
That's what I'm saying. Like this little snippet here, this looks promising, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I mean, like all of these are fine. If somebody put them in their top 50, I wouldn't say no to anything. Other than I'm not a huge Say Anything fan, but I understand some people really love that record. So,
all right.
But let's get into it. So
let's go. Okay, so this is a good start, man.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? You didn't expect that, right? I remember I looked at the first three before I sent it to you to get a familiarity with it, and so Leche Con Carne in the top 50, and I guess some people maybe wouldn't consider this pop punk, but I think it is. It's definitely early pop punk and 90s pop punk, and it's definitely like a definitive no use record, and I feel like it's totally fine to have a spot here. Depends what else they have, but it could probably even be higher.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Yeah.
What do you think?
This is for me, this is like more like skate punk, but it's definitely got elements of pop punk.
Got elements.
For pop punk, I would think more Betterness or Hard Rock Bottom.
Or Hard Rock Bottom would be your pick for no use, right?
Especially traditional pop punk. But I mean, absolutely no beef with this being on the list at all.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one here. I'd say that's fine. That's a fine pick. This is interesting, right?
Yeah. I got to get my scrolling right.
Yeah, we don't want to reveal too much. We got to get the scrolling just right. So Lagwagon's Duh is at 49. And if Leche could be considered a pop punk record, I feel like Duh is even less of a pop punk record. What do you think?
This is I mean, I love Lagwagon, but this is a bizarre.
This is weird.
And also I'm seeing May 17th.
Years before the group's signature song, May 17th. So somebody who's very familiar with Lagwagon definitely made this list. That's funny. I never noticed that.
Yeah, that's I'm not aware of that song. It's the sequel.
Yeah, is this also on Epitaph Records? No, they said Fat. Okay. I don't know. I wouldn't consider this is a skate punk record through and through. This is not really a pop punk record. I mean, if you just want to argue anything, it's not like 80s hardcore that came out in the 90s is pop punk, I guess. Also, this would not be my pick to put. If we were going to put a Lagwagon record on here, this wouldn't be my pick. If we were going to pick a skate punk record by them, I'd pick Trashed over Duh. And if we were going to pick, I think the only one I'd really just solidly say is pop punk is maybe Let's Talk About Feelings.
And Blaze. I think Blaze.
And Blaze, E-Daggers, definitely. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe another record of theirs will show up, maybe another No Use will show up, but yeah, this is a weird pick. I don't think this belongs on here, but interesting pick, definitely.
Right.
May 17th.
May 17th. All right.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot. Like, I was expecting to have like problems with a lot of this list, but
I know
these are legit albums so far.
Yeah. Yeah, this one surprised me too. I remember Peter Pan in the Discord told me this was a pop punk record, and I denied it originally. I was like, this is not Millen Cole's Life on a Plate is not pop punk, but I can see the argument. Some of the songs, even though I think it's a little bit more in the skate punk vein still, but I feel like this is definitely more pop punk than Lagwagon's Duh.
Yes.
Even though I would say Penny Bridge Pioneers, I think, should make this list over Life on a Plate. It's definitely more
Mhm.
pop punk, and I feel like it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think so far they're nailing the bands, but not the albums.
Yeah.
That's the same way. I mean, I think Life on a Plate is Matt's favorite, Mill and Colin, but like you're saying, this is the most pop punk of the three so far, I think. But
Yeah.
Penny Bridge, like you said, would definitely be
It's going to
even
fit stronger into a pop punk list than Life
yeah,
on a Plate would.
even Four Monkeys, I would say is more pop punk,
Yeah.
but overall three great bands to kick it off. Well, let's
So yeah, all right, here we go. Interesting. So this is first off, I don't think this is a pop punk record in my opinion. I know it's Screeching Weasel, but I never felt like this was really that true Weaselcore. I felt like a lot of the stuff still had that hardcore 80s
Yeah.
elements in it. I feel like they'd be better off with even My Brain Hurts would be better, or even
definitely.
Bark Like a Dog or something like that. But I mean, it's cool. It's on here, so
This
definitely like one of the pioneers. But go ahead.
yeah, the trend is continuing, man. Like again, correct band, but I don't know. Like based on that thumbnail, I'm like kind of confused. Like it had the Young and the Hopeless and Fallout Boy. So like I'm kind of like, okay, I get the vibe of this list. And then we're getting like
Yeah.
a lot of bands' early catalog. It's
I feel like they just kind of like spun a wheel of like bands they
Yeah.
needed to put on here, and they just like picked their most popular or their most like well respected in the punk community
yeah.
like record, where they're just like most people really respect this one, or a lot of people this is their favorite, or this is like the most iconic album cover, and this kind of put it on here. That's what it feels like, more than they actually like took the time to like I don't know, but I mean it's a lot to do a list like this, so.
You know what? Like, it's almost like they knew people were gonna do reactions like this. They're like, let's cover our bases.
Yeah,
and
let's
get
the
the
cult,
legendary
cult
ones.
iconic albums. Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for like, well, I assume that the first Ramones album is gonna be on here.
But they're also going to get hate no matter what they do, because now they're going to be like, "What, you telling me Good Charlotte is better than these
Yeah.
like
Oh,
five
that's true.
iconic punk records?"
I mean,
So they kind of shot themselves in the foot here.
we don't
they're
know if
trying to
there's gonna
appeal
be
to-
like multiple albums, so we may be eating our words later,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Let's see what's next. Don't back down. Oh, I keep. It's
It's
like
all good.
on my monitor. This is all the way at the bottom, but over here it's whatever.
You gotta do the manual scroll,
Yeah,
not the wheel. Yeah, the Queers, Don't Back Down. I don't know. I'm not huge on the Queers, but I feel like I love songs for the Retarded would be a little
Yeah.
bit of a better choice to put here. I don't know. What do you think? Or Grow Up. I feel like Grow Up would be better as well. But
I am also not a huge Queers fan, but like
Yeah.
this, I'm okay with this one in terms of their album.
Yeah.
Like it's super poppy, so it's not my favorite Queers album, but this is okay. I think this is the most. This one makes the most sense of the
yeah,
four so far.
it feels like they're like back cataloging all the '90s
Yeah.
stuff. And then they're like, once like we get through it, all the '90s stuff, they're just gonna start putting like Good Charlotte and A Day to Remember. Who
Yeah,
knows?
it's
But,
true. The
Yeah.
thumbnail is very confusing, but
Yeah.
we'll keep it rolling here. Okay, we're getting into the 2000s, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put Slick Shoes in my top 50 pop punk records. I know a lot of people love Slick Shoes, but they're always been like a C tier band for me. Like they're fine. They're nothing wrong with them. But I wouldn't put them in the top 50.
No,
So
they've always been like kind of MXPX. Like I got into
Yeah.
Slick Shoes when I ran out of MXPX albums. Like
yeah, I feel like even like Phoenix TX and Rufio hold a
better,
better
yeah.
spot of kind of like this C tier kind of pop punk band from the early 2000s that never really made like 2 records and never went anywhere. So
I see. I can get down with Slick Shoes, but not in the top 50.
not in the top 50. I don't think so. Weird pick too, but
Yeah.
I mean it's fine, I guess. So
There you go. There you
There we go.
go.
We're talking about Rufio. I feel like this. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think this record makes sense to be up there. It's like a cult classic of like early 2000s pop punk.
It's the correct
So
album too, I would
yes,
think.
definitely.
No
So
beef.
yeah, no beef with this one either. So
Mm,
okay. So first, I just want to say, not a pop punk record. This is a emo record through and through. This is um, I mean, some parts of it kind of, but I feel like the only pop punk record by Brand New is Your Favorite Weapon.
yeah.
After Your Favorite Weapon, I wouldn't really consider it pop punk, and I feel like Your Favorite Weapon would actually be in my top 50, but not. I wouldn't consider this a pop punk record. So I don't know. What do you think of Brand New, in this being here?
I used to like this album. The song "The Quiet Things That No One Ever Knows," like that. I remember like that was super popular in MTV2 way back in the day. And I used to dig this record, but I mean, I don't know. I am not a huge Brand New fan, even though they're a New York band. They used to play around all the time, but like, I could take it or leave it. Definitely would not be in my top 50, but people go wild for this album.
I know.
In
Yeah.
like the mid 2000s, like in the like when vinyl started to really take off, like this was one of the most sought after records there was.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So I understand it. I don't have a ton of like it wouldn't be on my personal list, but I don't really have a huge issue with it being on this list.
I feel like Your Favorite Weapon would make more sense. I mean, it's not a bad record. I like this record a lot, and I like at least three Brand New records, good
Mm,
bit. But I feel like it's not that pop punk. So, but
yeah, well,
we'll go to the next one. Okay.
I got beef.
Uh, so all time low. Now they got all the '90s records out of the way, and like Nothing Personal. It's like Nothing
Uh,
Personal is better than No Use for a Name, Lagwagon. Um, yeah, I mean this isn't even the all time low record. I feel like that should be represented on here. If I mean, what do you think? Should all time low even be on here? Should what's the other one with Dear Maria Count Me In? Would you
I
put that?
I don't see. I was playing in a pop punk band when this album came out, and I remember like they dropped like Weightless, and everybody was like, "Holy cow!" Like the Weightless is a really good pop punk song.
It's a good song.
Um,
Manage me, I'm a mess. I think that's how it starts.
I don't know. This is like I really don't want to like hate on people's musical taste, but to me this is like preteen pop punk. Like I it just like it doesn't really have a lot of substance for me.
It's
So
it's pretty interesting. It's on here after we just went through like all of these kind of like cult classic like punk records, and now we're at like 2009 with All Time Lows, Nothing Personal. It's a
yeah,
little
it's
weird. I mean, I feel like All Time Low could be on here. I don't think this record should be on here though.
yeah.
Um,
I think I was
if
too
you want to,
old. Like I was already in my mid 20s when this came out, so I kind of like missed the demographic.
yeah, I never really got into All Time Low. They have a lot of catchy songs. There's some songs that are really catchy, and I'll say that, but never particularly got into them. Uh, so I don't know. It's I'm not gonna hate too much on this being here. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we'll leave
It is a
it.
pop punk record. It's very popular.
Oh shoot.
Uh, so what do you think? Is this a pop punk record? I think it is.
I have no problem with this. Like
Yeah,
again,
this would be in mine.
another
Yeah.
New York band.
Hmm.
I remember going to shows with Taking Back Sunday in like 2000, like before they kind of blew up, and you can kind of feel it. Like
Hmm.
you know when you see a band and they just have something the way like this the crowd reacts to a local band, and like you start to see like more and more people coming. They go from like an opener to like the headliner, and you can kind of feel it. And this album is pretty unique too for the time
Hmm.
period with the dual vocals, the crazy melodies. Maybe people wouldn't expect this from me, but I think this is
This
an
is a
all
great
time
record.
well written pop punk record.
This is a near 10 out of 10 for me
Yeah.
personally. I know some people hate Taking Back Sunday, but I think this record is really good.
Mhm.
So many good songs from what is it? Cute Without the E, Cut from the Teen is just such a great track. Uh, couple more, I can't think of them. Something The Greatest Romance. But
Oh, Great Romances of the 20th Century, I think.
yes, the
Yeah.
20th Century is a song I love as well, and I think it's you know, why don't you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head? It's good. I love this record. This would be in my top 50, so this is a good pick.
All right.
This would be higher up than 41, honestly. Like it's not gonna be. It shouldn't like come right after All Time Lows. Nothing personal.
It's making me want to do a
So,
top 50 now. This I don't know if this would probably not honestly be in my top 50, but
no,
like
it would be in mine.
it would be like an important record for me. Like, I remember like in high school, like, I dug this album. Like a couple of good summers to this record, so it gives me the feels. But I don't know
Definitely.
about top 50, but no issue with it being here. All right, so moving along, okay, this would be on my list, man. We've said
Yeah.
this many times that Less Than Jake is a pop punk band at heart. This is my favorite ska punk album. This was in my top 10 albums of all time, probably top 5. So 40
Yeah.
is too low, but no beef at all with it being on the list.
Yeah, I have no problem with this being on the list. This is definitely they're a pop punk band at heart. They're a pop punk band that does ska, in my
Mhm.
opinion. I almost never think of Less Than Jake as a ska band, like first. You know what I mean? So personally, I'm fine with this being on the list. I think I might even put Anthem on this list as well if it's top 50. So
I
I
can
mean,
hear I can hear Dylan's voice saying Losing Streak is better, but this is my
well,
favorite.
I was gonna say, do you consider Losing Streak? I guess Losing Streak is one as well if we're considering No Use.
Yeah.
So Losing Streak could be on here. So might limit it to 2, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with this being here. I have no problem. Like you said, it probably could be higher.
Mhm.
So
All right, we'll go. All right, we got
okay,
Man
absolutely.
Overboard, 2011 self-titled. Dude, the East Coast bias on this list is crazy, honestly.
It's a good. Yeah, you're right. Actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
Huh.
this is a Jersey band. Um, I mean, I supported these guys a lot when they were like coming around. Like they got huge. This album is like the point where I started to like dip a little bit on them. This is and I guess like this is more emo leaning. Like I don't want to get into semantics here, but
It's a pop punk record.
yeah, I don't
So
know. It's
if
all
we're
right.
considering Brand New's Deja and
Yes,
Tendu
yeah.
and Taking Back Sunday, I think this is a pop punk record. It wouldn't be in my top 50. I'm not
Mm-mm.
really a big Man Overboard fan. So, I mean, if you're just trying to make a list that like covers your basis of like iconic bands, that's what this feels like more than a genuine
Yeah.
top 50 at this point. I'm not gonna say that it could be very well genuine, but I mean there are some interesting choices that didn't need to be here, like Less Than Jake's Hello Rockview and stuff like that. So that's cool. And even Taking Back Sunday, I wouldn't expect. So, but yeah, Man Overboard wouldn't be on the list for me. But
I
I mean,
mean,
I'm not mad that it's
yeah.
on here.
I think
It's fine.
Real Talk is way better than this one. If you're gonna put
Yeah,
one on, this is just a weird choice.
yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll keep going. I'm not too familiar with this album, man. I hear people talk about this all the time,
Yeah, this
and
is like a very highly praised pop punk record. Um, Definitely also diving into like a little bit of like the 90s post-hardcore style mixed in with it
mhm,
too. So I don't know. I think it's a good record. I'm not gonna hate on this being in someone's top 50. Would it be in mine? I'm not really sure. I'm not like crazy huge on Knuckle Puck, but I don't mind this being here. I think this is good. I mean, I think it's good to have newer band
yeah,
representation too in these top 50s. So, and this is definitely one that a lot of people like. So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Probably wouldn't be in yours. You don't
No,
think?
I've
Yeah.
tried to listen to this a couple times. I've said it before, like a few times. Like for me, like the best Knuckle Puck release is the EP with In the Bag and the Blink cover, and then I like the 2021 too. That's one I couldn't really get into it. Not Knuckle Puck is okay for me. It just not one of my favorites. So this would be a
Yeah.
pass for me.
Okay.
All right, we got Set Your Goals.
Yeah,
This
we
will
gotta
be
set
the
your
death of
goals.
us.
I feel like what is it called? Shit. Fuck. With the first
Mutiny,
one,
Mutiny.
Mutiny. I was about to call it Shipwrecked for some reason. In my head, I was like, is it called Shipwreck? What was it called? Something pirate. Yeah, Mutiny. I feel like Mutiny is a better representation. This is a good record though. I
Yeah.
feel like Set Your Goals should be on here, so I'm fine with Set Your Goals making the top 50. What do you think?
I don't know. I love this when it came out.
Yeah,
And just like set your goals. We talked about it in the 2010s list. It just like doesn't age well for me. Like there's some sweet riffs
yeah.
on this album, but top 50 pop punk albums, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I like Mutiny better as well for what it's worth. This is a good
Are you fine?
record.
Is this like, yeah? Are you fine with this being here though? Like, and maybe its position on the list. Are you fine with like
Yeah.
somebody putting it in there? 'Cause really, I feel like it makes sense to at least put Set Your Goals into one of these lists, so it's not too egregious.
It's
I mean,
fine.
it is, yeah. So
It's fine. I don't love it
it's
there.
fine. It's fine. Speaking of fine, State Champs Finer Things, uh, which I think is their best record. I don't know if it should be this high up on the list though. So, I don't know.
I don't
I know you're not a big State Champs fan, but you said you like some of the songs
I like the
I put on
song.
that list.
I think Elevated, which they I mean, this band's from Albany. We got another New York band. I don't know where
Yeah.
Loudwire is based, but the bias is getting. I would not expect. Well, I guess like pop punk is very much East Coast, where like skate punk and punk in general is
Yeah.
West Coast. So I guess it kind of makes sense. Uh, I don't know. I don't really get this band. If they were gonna put them on here, then this is the record.
Definitely.
But
I feel like
man,
it could be higher up. I feel like it'd be in like maybe the start instead of the Lagwagon record,
yeah,
or the No Use record.
it's
So 'cause
very
I feel
very
like
polished.
yeah, it's super polished. So, all right, we'll get on the next one.
There we go.
Uh,
100%.
This
100%.
this should be high. This should be higher up, like
Mhm.
way higher up, honestly. So
This is a
yeah, I
top
mean,
10 pop punk for me. Top 10.
yeah, this should be in anybody's like top 10, top 15 at least, top 20 at the minimum, I would say. So
We got to go through this at the end and count the East. This is another Jersey band. So,
there's another Jersey band. I mean, this one makes sense though. I mean, the only one I would have deduct points for is if it's like really this band over this one, but so it makes sense to have this here. It should be way higher up though.
oh yeah.
So let's see what do they have higher than How I Spent Your Summer Vacation. Yeah, okay.
No beef.
No beef. It should be higher as well, I feel like. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, this is a super solid. Where's Story So Far from? I can't remember now.
I
Do
think
you know?
no, I don't know.
Oh,
They
that's
feel
okay.
like an East Coast band, but I think they might
They
be
feel-
California.
They might be. They feel like Philly a little bit.
Yeah.
But they might be Seattle for all I know.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. You know me, I'm not a huge fan, but this record I like.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. This one I would put this in Under Soil and Dirt in the top 50, I feel like. So.
Yeah. All right, no
All
beef.
right.
There we go.
There you go.
This is another good one. I'm okay with this too.
This is no West Coast or East Coast bias,
Yeah.
unless you're counting England as the East Coast. So,
Yeah.
so
But they shout out "Can't Kick Up the Roots." That's my favorite song in this record.
it's a banger. It's a banger. Yeah, this should be here.
Yeah.
I feel like this placement is pretty good too, in like the middle.
Mhm.
I feel like that's where it'd probably end up for me. I don't know. You think it'd go higher for you?
I mean, this wouldn't be on my list again.
Really? It wouldn't even be in your top 50?
I don't think so. I like this record, and it was like a nice revival for the scene, like right around this period. Like
Okay.
pop punk was pretty dormant in like 2015, so I'm cool with the kind of resurgence that it kicked in. But my personal list, it wouldn't be there. But I definitely like the album. Top 50. I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I've been listening to pop punk now for like close to 30 years, so like it'd be tough
guess
for like
so.
a newer band to sneak in there.
Yeah, I'm curious now what your top 50 would be.
I
feel
want to
like it's
do
gonna
it
be-
now. I want to do
It's,
it now.
it's going to be all older. It's going to be all older bands, I feel like now, right? A lot of early 2000s. Like there hasn't been a lot of like representation from bands like Sugar Cult or
Yeah.
like those kind of bands. Like I don't know if they would even make your top 50, but it is interesting that like none of those kind of dude, the only one we had so far is like Slick Shoes, which is pretty
Yeah,
weird.
I think they're coming. I think for sure that Start Static will be on here.
Yeah, I mean Yellow Card we still have to get through. So all the early 2000 stuff I feel like is going to be towards the end probably.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
should be. That's the golden age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
That's
I'm fine with the placement. I think this would end up in my top 50. So, but yeah, let's go to the next one.
okay. I'm good
Yeah,
too. I'm good.
100%.
Great
Yeah,
album. It's
yeah.
my
Would
favorite
this
by
be
them
at least
too.
in your top 50? Would this sneak in?
I don't
Don't
know.
tell me. Don't tell me it's
It's
not. Oh my gosh.
possible. I don't know, dude. It's tough to off the top of my head. Like I think my top 50 would take me weeks to
Oh
do.
my
Like
gosh.
if I'm doing a top 50, it's gonna be like I'm gonna
This guy's
make sure I'm
gonna
not gonna
put
do like my top 10.
MXPX on his list, but he's not gonna put Suburbia. I've given you all, and now I'm nothing.
Yeah,
I don't know what you do.
it would probably be there, but
All
like
right.
yeah, I don't know. Like I threw out like my top 10 albums before, and I told you like Matt and I did that day, and the
Yeah.
amount of hate that we got. So like I'm not. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut mostly if I'm not sure. But this should be here on this list. It's a super important and really good album.
Yeah, it makes sense to at least be on someone's list. I don't feel like this is egregious or weird.
No, it's good.
I would put it even higher, to be honest. But yeah, let's keep going. Okay. No.
It's like a flash in the pan MySpace band.
I know.
Yeah, no
Oh,
way.
sorry. Yeah, I don't know what this is doing here. So, I mean, all-time low, I understand. If we're gonna do like the MySpace era pop punk stuff, but the Academy is there even Academy is fans anymore? Does anyone even remember this band? I
No.
feel like they're in the same area as like what is it? Boy like girl. What is that band called?
Oh, boys
Meet
like
Girl?
girls. I remember the
Yeah,
Great
Boy
Escape
Like
song. I
Boys
can't
Like
name a
Girls.
single song by these guys.
I can't name a single Academy is song either. I remember my girlfriend in high school really liked them, but I never listened to them.
No,
So
it's whack.
is the main next? At least it's not the main.
Yeah. Well, yes, another.
Okay. Um, if you're gonna pick one of these, I feel like this is not the worst choice. Cartel's Chroma. I feel like it's a decent kind of neon pop punk record. It still kind of has some of that early 2000s influence. Like if you're gonna choose one of these to be on here, I think Cartel. This album makes sense. I think it's pretty solid. I don't know. What do you think? Do you even know this record or?
I know this record. I remember that. I think it's the song that it's like starts off like "Baby, don't follow their lead," and he says "baby" like 1,000 times in the song. But
Yeah, it's like honestly is one.
yeah, that's the one. I remember this album. I remember people went wild for this album. I think that this song is really catchy. But it's not really my style. It's too clean. It's too polished.
Also,
Yeah.
definitely. I was just gonna say, if you're gonna pick a neon pop punk record, I feel like this one is not the worst one you could choose. But also, this being ahead of like the Wonder Years, The Story So Far, No Use for a Name, Less Than Jake.
Yeah, it's criminal.
That Taking Back Sunday record is kind of rough. I don't think it's as good as any of those. So
Yeah. This is
I don't know. I don't know if it would make my list. I don't think so.
we've
No,
hit
I'd
a
have to
rough
re-listen
patch.
to it.
Rough
Yeah.
patch. Yeah.
So, so this is getting weird. The middle here is strange. Okay, no.
What is going?
No.
Dude, these are like clustered. We went like No Use, Lagwagon, Mill and Colin, and now we get Academy is Cartel, All American
Yeah.
Rejects.
It's like yeah, it is. It's like we're just clustering the albums. Like, okay, this is the '90s era, and this is going to be the 2010s era, and now we're down to like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of? Like if you're on Spotify and it keeps recommending artists if you like, and you keep clicking them. That's what I feel like we're going down that like rabbit hole. We're just clicking.
Yeah, it does. It does feel like related artists.
Yeah.
So it feels like we're on Last FM and we're looking at the similar artist tab. Or,
Yeah, we're just getting scrobbled over here.
I will say this is like one of the first records I ever bought. it was this and Less Than Jake's In With the Out Crowd were two of the first records I ever CDs I ever bought. I bought them from Target, I think at the same time. And the All American Rejects one I liked, but the Less Than Jake one I thought was way better. So, In With the Out Crowd. I know some people don't like In With the Out Crowd, but I was a big fan when I was like 13, 14
Yeah.
when I was listening to those records.
There's
So,
some good songs. I mean, I would take In With the Out Crowd over this. Like, this is a fine pop rock album, but I mean,
yeah,
We're saying 29th best pop punk album of all
Yeah,
time.
that's wild. That's wild.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So this
Mm-mm.
isn't even better than Cartel's Chroma.
Yeah.
Cartel's Chroma makes way more sense than the
See,
American Reject record.
I would personally take this over Cartel.
Really?
Yeah, I would take the, I don't like, I mean, neither one of these are they're not my flavor, but if gun to my head, I'm taking All American Rejects over Cartel. But I mean,
He's
this
a
is,
big he's singing Dirty Little Secret in the car on road trips.
I mean,
It makes his rotation.
I know two songs off of this one, which is more than I know off of
I
Cartel.
guess that's fair.
So,
But yeah, this shouldn't be here. This is like weird.
no.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay, so we get the first band that has two
All right.
albums.
Replace this with the Nothing Personal all the way up at the top, and I wouldn't be like too mad.
Yeah.
But 28 is kind of wild for this all-time low record.
Yeah, I remember this isn't again like everybody knew Dear Maria when it is this the one with God, I don't really know much about this band. Stella or Stella's on the other one, but yeah, it's okay. It's a really really catchy pop punk album. I probably don't have beef with it being on the list, but having All Time Low with two albums and this one being so high, I've got a little bit of I got an issue with that.
Yeah, if this one was at where Nothing Personal was at, I would be less upset. But yeah, this is a weird position to have this album at. So, but especially two all-time low records, yeah, definitely don't need two. So,
all right, we're continuing the trend. I feel like there's got to be okay. There's our curveball. From All Time Low to the Descendants.
That's super funny. So yeah, that is a weird transition though from All Time Low.
The
to
last five bands to this, yeah.
I am not a huge fan of this record. I know a lot of people love this record. I know you love this record, but I have no problem with it being on someone's list. It makes sense to me. It is a pop punk record, and yeah, it's an iconic one too. So,
yeah.
I don't know if it might peak maybe the 50 or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I got to re-listen to it, but I'm really not a fan of this record too much. But
it sounds like we are going to do our top 50s. I mean,
we may have to do it and compare them.
This is a top 50, no doubt for me. I think this is the best album in the Descendants all family of bands. I believe it had to be the first one I got, and I love this album. I'm the One is like a top 20 song of all time for me too, so I'm good. I mean, if what we're thinking is happens again, I expect to get another like legacy band next, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah, mug, Puppy Mug.
I don't even know what this is. Yeah,
I think this is a Christian pop punk band. I've only heard of them. Yeah, what is this doing here? I don't know. I can't say. Maybe it's like a great record, but I have never listened to. I've heard of Acceptance. I've never listened to Acceptance Phantoms.
No.
What the heck? This looks like a CD that would be at like my emo cousin's house, just like sitting on her shelf, like right next to like Evanescence.
Yeah.
And,
it looks like a poster that would be in like one of those like pop up like crystal stores in the mall.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. This better be pretty fucking good record if it's at 26. If it's above the Descendants, above the Bouncing Souls.
I've never heard of this band.
It feels like they picked 50 records and then they put it in a randomizer. This looks like this is them trying to do like a deep cut. I feel like this is their deep cut. They're like, oh, I bet you didn't expect Acceptance Phantoms to be here. Yeah, no one expected it because no one even knows his record.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Sorry, I was holding back a cough there. I'm still getting over my sickness, so I apologize, guys. All right, yes, this should be in the top. This would be in my top 50. I think so. I don't know how you feel about Motion City Soundtrack, but I think it's a great pop punk record. Some people say it's not a pop punk record, but I think it definitely is. So.
I don't really know much about this band, honestly, except I don't even know if it's this album.
Everything is all right.
Yeah, it's like I hate the ocean, theme parks, and airplanes.
Yes.
Is that that's all I know about this band, and I don't
Yeah,
really like that
that's
song.
everything is all right. I
Yeah.
hate the ocean, theme sparks and airplanes. Da, 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 da. Everything is all right. I
Nah.
think this would be in my top 50, definitely.
Mm-mm.
So I think it's a great record. It makes sense to be here. So yeah, we'll have to do a comparison because there's some records that I feel like are like pop punk staples that you're like, nah.
Nah.
and there's some classics that I'm like, maybe I don't know. So yeah, it'd be cool to compare them. Maybe that will happen. It'll take a while
Yeah.
since John got roasted on
I'm
his
gonna be
last just top 10. It's top 50.
I'm gonna be
You've got like
real careful with my list.
he's gonna ask the Discord, what
Yeah.
records should I pick, guys?
Okay.
He's
All
gonna
right.
ask yes, it should be higher.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know. This is a good position if I'm thinking of my list all overall. It's not bad. Yeah, this should be here.
Yeah.
This is like either the best or second best Blink record. You know, so
I think potentially there's gonna be 3 Blink albums in the top 25.
okay. I
I,
mean, there's Dude Ranch and then probably Enema, right?
I think
Are the only
Untitled is gonna sneak in.
Untitled might sneak in. You're
Yeah,
right.
and Enema's in the thumbnail, so
I I was just thinking, yeah, I was just thinking because they put like no use for a name randomly. It is they like couched all the '90 bands up at the top for
yeah,
like credibility's sake, except for the Descendants. So
yeah, we'll
that's interesting.
see.
And we've gotten zero Green Day yet, so Green Day is
Oh
gonna show
yeah,
up. Yeah.
American Idiot and Dookie are gonna be on
Yeah,
this.
maybe even Insomniac. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Or
this
Nimrod. I can see Nimrod showing up for some reason.
no beef with this, right? We're
No,
good with it.
no beef. It's a great record. This wouldn't make mine, but I
Mm-mm.
understand people like Say Anything. I don't. I've never been able to get into them. What do you think of Say Anything?
My wife loves this band, and
Yeah.
um I don't like it either. I don't really. She played a couple of songs for me that were like pretty fast, but like I don't know.
Some of them are very weird.
Yeah, it's
It's a
not
very
my thing.
strange style. Um, I don't. A lot of the songs I wouldn't even consider pop punk. Not that I want to like gatekeep a genre here, but I don't know. It wouldn't be in my top
Mm-mm.
50, but I understand it's like a cult classic. I wouldn't like if this was higher up. I wouldn't hate the positioning, but 23 is pretty wild. So to me, but
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. People love it. It's important, but it's not on my list.
hmm
All right.
um, it's kind of weird. It's at 22, but I think it's a good pop punk record. I think it's their best record too. So I think it's better than Under the. I don't know. I don't know if we ever even talked about Fall Out Boy. You probably never even talked about Fall Out Boy once on this channel. But what do you think of this record showing up here?
I don't like this album, man.
Really?
I think Cork Tree may be on my list. I think Cork Tree is a
Really?
phenomenal album. Like I think it's
Okay.
like almost perfect pop punk album. Everyone always told me you should like this, you should like this. I don't
I
know.
feel like you would like this more, so that is pretty surprising.
Yeah,
You don't like it. I guess they do have some weirder style songs. I mean, Cork Tree is a good record.
Mhm.
It might make my top 50, honestly. I mean, Sugar We're Going Down is like an all time just pop punk classic, and so many other songs. What Sweet 16 or something like that? What's that song? 16 Candles.
Oh
Something.
yeah. 16
They have all these songs that are like a sentence long. I can't remember what it is, but that one's really good too. And 7 Minutes in Heaven or something like that is
So
good
I
too.
was like EXO on that one. Like that
Yeah.
one's a banger.
I mean, I'm fine with this Fall Out Boy record being here, though.
Yeah,
I have
it's
no
fine.
beef with it. You
It's
know?
fine. It's Fall Out Boy. They're huge.
Okay. What do you think? You think about Something Corporate? I have no opinion. I can't remember this record very well. I've listened to a few stuff by them, but I don't remember this. At 21 is pretty crazy to me. But do you have any
Um,
thoughts on Something Corporate being 21?
I'm gonna like really contradict myself, but like this, I remember, dude, like in the drive-through heyday, like this was like a great time for pop punk, and there's
Yeah.
some really catchy songs on this album. I don't would it be in my top 50? Absolutely not, but like I remember this was a big record. It got a lot of people into the style. It got a lot of people into drive-through. And I
Yeah.
can listen to this whole record pretty much. This one and I think North is pretty good too. I don't have a problem with it being on the list.
Okay. You think it should be higher up at least?
No. I mean, you mean I guess higher up
You
meaning
say you don't have a. Yeah, higher up being like, sorry, it should be lower on
Lower.
the list.
Yeah.
My bad, I worded it
Higher
wrong.
number,
I was
lower
thinking
placement.
directionally
Yeah.
instead of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it should be a lower placement, like definitely, like in the 50s. I feel like if you're going to, I haven't listened to it, but
Yeah.
um, I
It's
feel
pretty
like
good.
I've heard something corporate songs. Did they have a Punk Rock Princess? Is that the
Yeah.
song by them?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, they can be the top 50. All right, yeah,
Yeah. Hell
this should be
yeah.
here.
Hell
It
yeah.
should be higher up.
I agree.
Honestly, unless they have another Newfound Glory record, but I mean, this is the definitive one. This should be here. It'd probably be maybe my top 10. I'd have to think about it. I I don't know. Is there one you like? Do you like the
This is my
self-titled
favorite.
better than this?
This is my
Is your favorite?
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd probably be in my I yeah. This is fine. I think it's totally fine to be here. It's at least in the top 20, so
Yeah.
I think it's totally fine. It definitely should be at the bare minimum top 20.
Yeah. It's a good pick.
So,
Two
yeah.
back-to-back drive-through, too.
Yep. All right, we're about to get a lot of early 2000s. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
feel
we
like,
go.
okay. Yes, this should be here, 100%. This is like a near perfect record in my opinion. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And for a band to pull off the violin is pretty crazy, but Yellow Card makes the violin work. If you told me, oh yeah, this band has a violin in it, I would be very hesitant to give it a listen. It makes me think of Skillet, the Christian nu metal. They always do the orchestra stuff, and it's so corny. But Yellow Card makes it work, and I feel like they make like a really epic sounding record with this. So many just heavy choruses that just like you're like, damn, dude, that's some good songwriting. Yeah, this should be here.
100%. I love this
yeah.
record. I loved it I got it on release day in 03, and I've said this so many times, but in my friend group, no, I was the only one that listened to like pop punk and like Epitaph Fat, and like I've always kind of, I just consume everything. You could tell by the feud episodes, and I really love this record. This is 100% in my top 50 for sure.
Yeah, easily. So, all right, what's next here? Okay.
Me too.
Yeah, I think it would be in my top 50 as well. I think it's between this and the self-titled, but I think this might edge it out. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think I watched your Good Charlotte ranking video. I can't remember where you put it, but I know a lot of people hate on Good Charlotte, but I don't know. There's something just perfectly corny and perfectly just cringy about Good Charlotte that works in its favor almost. It's like endearing. It's like charming in a way, and it's fun. There's a lot of song like Lifestyle, The Rich and Famous. Oh, it's such a 2000 song, dude. Like, oh my god, the music video and everything. So all the references to celebrities. It's a product at the time, but it should be in the top 50, definitely.
I love this band, dude. You know that, and this is where I start to become a hypocrite. But like, it's another one of those bands. Like, I saw Good Charlotte opening up for Goldfinger before. Like it was any of those bands that you latch onto early, especially when you're in high school. You just like you get attached. And like, I think the self-titled is awesome. I think this record is awesome. Even like as corny as you can get, Riot Girl is a banger, dude. Like, it's a really catchy song. And
I even like what is it, Boys and Girls? Like the chorus.
That one gets
so
a little
cringy.
dicey for me.
Oh, it's tough. It's rough, but there's like something so corny about it that I kind of love. Girls don't like boys, girls like cars and money. It's like almost so bad it's kind of good. But there is some bangers on here, like My Old Man, Story of My Old Man. The anthem is good. This one's for the kids who were picked last in gym class. Like it's something so immature and freshman about it that it's charming.
Yeah.
I think it's top 50.
I'm good.
I agree.
It. Maryland band too. I know you're partial to the Maryland
Waldorf.
bands.
It's funny. There's like stores up in Waldorf that have like Good Charlotte merch, like posters and stuff. There's the Raising Canes, who always try to localize their style. They have Good Charlotte posters up on the Waldorf Raising Canes.
That's awesome.
Funny.
I didn't know Raising Canes was that far north.
Yeah, they just started popping up around here. So
interesting. All right, well, we're both good with this one. Oh, dude, you might be right. We might have like quad blink representation.
Well, I thought Deuteran should be here because No Use was here and the Descendants record. So I was like, they're going for the '90s credibility
Yeah.
on this, with the randomly like the worst mid 2000s pop punk band picks, like fucking Acceptance and the Academy is. Just random shit. It felt like that whole thing was a fever dream, and now we're like back on track to stuff that makes sense.
Mhm.
So the middle was a fever dream, and but yeah, I mean, I feel like Dude Ranch should be here. I have no beef with it.
Yeah.
It is kind of hard because like Blink could easily take 4 slots, at least 3 in mine. So I'd have to think about if I want to do it. If we do it, we got to do it genuinely. We don't want to put limits on a band or nothing like that. So
No.
I would say Blink would definitely take 3 slots. So what do you think?
I'm good with this. The top 20 so far is pretty perfect. I'm good
Yeah,
with all
top
of them.
20. I mean, this is like this is your alley right here. This
is the heyday.
yeah.
There we
This is
go.
the
We're
cargo
keep
shorts.
it going.
Yep.
Keep it rolling. Not this is another one to be in my top 10 probably. They've got it at 16. We've been dousing Sum 41 with love lately, aside from Heaven and Hell. So this is my favorite Sum 41 album. It belongs here. It's great.
Definitely.
I'm good.
Top 20 easily. So yeah, makes sense.
We'll keep it rolling.
I'm waiting for like a weird one. No, this makes sense.
Another good one. Another
Yeah.
one. Perfectly okay with this.
I'm surprised. We only had one MXPX record on
This is
here
the first
so far.
one.
This is the first one.
Oh, Slick Shoes is the second one, but yeah.
I would honestly replace that Slick Shoes record with like Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo or something like
Yeah.
that, or the Ever Passing Moment. But this should be here. It's like an iconic '90s punk record. So no beef with this.
All right, let's shout out Loudwire for getting it. Like the top 20 so far is they got
the top 20 is good. They had some weird stuff going on. It felt a bit amateurish at the beginning. It felt like it was like someone who knew enough about pop punk to appeal to people, but not enough to like make the definitive choices. But this feels like definitively correct. So
okay, yeah, dude. Again, I'm good with this. This is my second favorite Alkaline record, so.
I'd have to think about it. I don't know if Alkaline would make my top 50. I guess they are a pop punk band.
That's my only thing. It's like, is this pop punk? But I guess it is.
I mean, I never considered them pop punk. I always considered them more in the vein of like an AFI or a Jimmy Eat World. But I guess some people even consider that Jimmy Eat World record pop punk. So
Lead American,
we'd have to think about it. I mean, once again, I'm an Alkaline Trio casual, but this record I have listened to and it is really good. So so I'm fine with being here.
I'm good with it too. I guess it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Stupid Kid and Private Eye are pop punk songs, so I'm okay with it. I'm good.
Cool.
And then we got A Day to Remember, Homesick.
I mean, would this, because you surprised me with some of them, would this be in your top 50? This would be in my top 20 easily.
Really?
I feel like this is an incredible pop punk record. I know maybe some people would question it because the easy core, they do some of the metal breakdowns in it, but it's a pop punk record through and through. I think it's an amazing record. So would it be in your top 50 though?
No, not in my top 50. Like, it should. I don't have any problem with it being here, but like, I never listen to this band anymore. It's just like them and set Your Goals. It's just like, it seems like such a product of the times. Like it just doesn't.
I feel like Set Your Goals more than I feel like this album stands pretty, maybe a little bit dated, but I don't know. I still go back to this record and the other one that has somewhere. What is it called? I forget. Whatever. I'm sick. My brain's not operating at full capacity right now. But
for those who have heart is the other good one that I know of.
Yeah. The song that's like I Hate This Town, that record. I can't think of what it's called now. I hate this town. It's so washed up or so fucked up. I can't remember. It don't. Is
it like What Becomes You or something?
Yes. What Becomes You? I think something like that. So, this would be in my top 20. I think it's an incredible record. This is a weird pick.
We're heading back to Jersey, man.
Yeah, this is a sleeper hit. I think it's a great record.
Me too. Yes.
I think it's a really good record. I don't know if it's top 12 good, but It's it's like it's I don't know if it's even top 20 good, but it probably will make my list. I think this record goes hard.
Yeah.
So what's the other one? Is the other one the blue record?
Save the
Is that
world, lose the
Midtown?
girl.
Save the
Yeah.
World. I have to figure out which one I like better, but I think I like this one better,
This
even
one's
though there is
better.
some
Yeah.
great songs on that one as well.
I love,
Yeah,
dude, this album, like the A side of this record is ridiculous. It's
it's
so
just so
good.
good.
And
It's so good.
dude, that's the problem with these lists. Like, there's so much bias that go. Like, Midtown is like a band that was probably from like less than 90 minutes, maybe, from my hometown. So they were just around constantly. Like, I just associate so much with seeing
Well,
these bands.
I don't even I've never even seen them live. They were never a local band for me, and I also think this record is phenomenal. It's like an underrated early 2000s pop punk record, definitely. Like one of the definitive ones where you're like, this record deserves more love.
Yeah.
Same with like maybe some of the Mess records and stuff. So, but yeah, this is perfectly fine. There's no Mess so far.
I don't know if it's this picture or what, but the neck on this girl is like wild. I never noticed it. That's a hell of a neck.
Oh yeah, she looks like a French artist.
Yeah.
She got a French artist neck.
All right, we'll move on.
Cruella de Vil neck. Okay. Alt rock album, not pop punk. No,
I'm waiting for that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Would this be in your top 50? Do you consider this a pop punk record? There's definitely pop punk songs on it. Maybe it's a tricky band to kind of like put under the category of pop punk, especially their later stuff. But I'm not mad if somebody wants to put it here. I mean, this is the second time Green Day revitalized the punk scene.
Yes.
So
I think it has to be here, just because of what you said. That like 1994, the punk rock breaks into the mainstream, and then it's dipping right in like 2002, 2003. The thing is that like this was a resurrection for punk, but like 2005, 2006, 2007, like that was still a very dark period, very like emo and post-hardcore and screamo. That's the heyday. But
all of these bands, like I probably wouldn't never have known if it weren't for American Idiot. Like these, like all the political stuff, like Anti-Flag. I feel like getting signed major label was because of American Idiot, and I feel like so many different bands. And that was like one of the first punk bands I ever listened to. Outside of some of the pop punk stuff and things like that. But so many bands I think were given a chance with a major label because of this record. Even though like the only major I mean, Holiday is kind of a punk song, and American Idiot's really the only single that's a true kind of punk song. But yeah, I think importance wise alone, it should be here. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's got to be. This is like a 9 out of 10 record for me too. So I'm totally good with it being here.
Yeah, I think it's a great record.
Back to Jersey, man.
Yes,
I love this.
This is a great record. This should be here.
Yeah.
Like, this top 20 is for me as well. I think maybe 25. I'll have to think about it, but I think this is a phenomenal pop punk record. It makes sense. It should be here. What do you think?
It's close. Like I love Can't Slow Down too. Like those two are really tight for me. But like, so like. I'm a huge Lifetime fan, and I feel like these guys just kind of took Lifetime and made it even like more accessible. So like, I don't know. It should be in the top 50. I'm not sure which one I would
Lifetime
pick.
Jersey band too, right?
Yeah, dude. There's a lot. After we're done, I'm gonna count. I just count the New Jersey bands alone. There's got to be at least 10. So I got to look where Loudwire is based after this.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, I'm starting to think DJ Purplish Rain made this list because he loves the starting line. Would this be? I think it would be. I think it's a really fun pop punk record. I think it's a great early 2000s pop punk record. Is it Up and Away?
Up and Go.
Up and Go Away or something like that. It's Up and that song's so catchy. It's so good. Best of Me is a fine single. It would not be top 10. This would not be top 10 for me, but it would be in the top 50. I think it's a perfect encapsulation of early 2000s pop punk in a way. Like this is like the most early 2000s outside of like Good Charlotte we've had so far. I feel like.
Look at that girl's pants, man. If that's not early 2000s, what is?
So
Um,
it just I tried to we did the AI art thing, and I tried to recreate this, and it blocked it because I said bare feet. I think they're stopping people from getting the feet
oh
on
yeah,
there. Oh, all the foot fetish people are blocking the AI art thing here, so I couldn't recreate it.
they just can't get the toes right, man. That's why.
Yeah,
But
they all twisted up. They look like SpongeBob's fingers or something.
yeah, I'm getting heavy nostalgia from these last couple of picks. I think these guys are from Philly. If I or
Oh,
I think I mean Philly is essentially is South Jersey, so I'll
mhm.
let it slide. But yeah, this is a really good album. Lots of nostalgia for this. It should be in the top 50. No beef. Top
Yeah,
10. I don't
no,
know,
top
but
10's kind of wild.
it's good.
Also, I've realized there's like no Reliant K representation. I don't know how you feel about them, but I feel like
Oh,
the album with Sadie
mm-hmm.
Hawkins dance should be
Oh,
top
that's
50.
before. Two
Yeah,
lefts don't make a right, but three do. Or
yeah, yeah,
what? I don't know.
yeah. Or the
Something like
Anatomy
that.
of something. It's called the Anatomy
Of
of
tongue in cheek. Yeah,
yeah,
one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
two. Yeah, they're a good
I
band.
think it's a fire record. That'd make my top 50. So no Reliant K representation. So, but it's
I
fine.
think is my favorite Reliant K, even though I
It's
hate the
really good too.
album title.
Yeah.
I don't like saying you
No,
can't really say it.
yeah.
It's just a noise.
I hate album titles that are like try to be quirky and weird. Just pick a
Yeah.
name, dude.
All right.
Just even that Pooley record. Well, it's up to debate if this is a pop punk record.
It
I
is.
guess.
I think
The
so.
middle is definitely a pop punk song. Some songs don't seem like it, but I have no problem with this being here. I think
No.
this is
I
an
love this
awesome record.
album.
This is so good. This might if we're adding it to the list, if we're considering it pop punk, which I guess you say we are. I mean, if American Idiot's here, and American Idiot's just as experimental as this can be sometimes, and more even. Yeah, this might even make my top 10. I think his record is crazy good.
It is. I'm good with it.
Yeah,
They turned it around here on this list, man.
yeah. Okay. I've never been a huge Paramore fan, but I have to give this record another listen through for me to discount it. I feel like top 10. I understand a lot of people would put this probably in their top 10.
Yeah.
This record gets so much love, like Misery Business, which I think is a good song.
Yeah, it's a great
But
song. It's a great
it's a
song.
great song. Yeah. But I honestly can't remember this record too well. It's been so long since I've listened to it. So what do you think?
Definitely not in my top 50. This was a
Okay.
huge album, and like
Massive.
I don't have any problem with it being on this list. Number 7 though is like, wow, there's a lot of stuff I would put above it, but it's an important
Yeah.
album. I mean,
I can see this being people's top 10, top 15, though.
yeah,
I'm not totally against it just because how much. Dude, every chick whose car I went in, they had you could put the CDs up top
yeah,
in
yeah.
the.
Lewis
Yeah,
still
they
has
all
that, by
had.
the way.
They all had, yeah, they all had Riot up there somewhere. Like, Riot was up there somewhere, and like My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade.
Mhm.
So they were always there. So no matter who, a huge record.
Yeah, I don't know. I have top 10, number 7. I don't love.
Top 10 is weird.
but
I can understand some people might do it, but it definitely, I don't even know if it would reach top 50 for me. I'd have to think about it.
I
I have
would.
to re-listen.
I would like to do a first listen to, like, I don't know if I've ever listened to this whole album. I know, like,
We can do it. I know Misery Business, and I don't even know if I've listened to the full album.
yeah,
I know some of the songs. We can make it one. So
we'll see. If you're watching, if you watched, we're got to be over an hour by now. If you're still watching and you'd like to see that, let us know. But let's close this out here. You were right, dude.
oh man,
I don't love this above Sticks and Stones personally, but this is a fantastic album. This is gonna be. I keep saying it's gonna be in my top 50, but that top 50 is shrinking really fast. So I gotta start choosing my words. But
it's all good.
It's a great album. No beef.
I'd switch it with Sticks and Stones, but yeah,
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I think it's a great record. So I think this Sticks and Stones and Catalyst could all be in the top 50, and I wouldn't have too much of a problem. So
Okay, we're good. Okay, All Killer should be here. I think I'm good with All Killer, no filler.
yeah, I have no problem with this next one. I
Yeah,
think I've already said it should be in the top 5 or top 10 on when we talked about the rankings. So
we should like the four of us should each do a list and we do one episode for each of us. I think that'd be the best way to do it. Otherwise, if we all do a top 50, it's gonna be like 6 hours.
well, who's gonna? It's pop punk bands though. So I mean, like
Oh, Lewis
how
won't want to
many?
do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Dylan will, but it's gonna be a lot more
Ramones, Bubblegum.
Ramones core stuff. So I mean, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out. It's fine.
Okay. Well, yeah, and like we said, this should be here. I'm good. I'm even good with number 5, so no problems.
Yeah, no issue. There you go, man.
Okay.
Is
Number
top 10?
Number 4. I don't know, but I remember like 2005, right? I'm 20. I didn't want to like this album, but I couldn't help liking the album. The girl I was
Catchy.
dating at the time was like a mega Fall Out Boy fan. Like I couldn't avoid it. And I'm always like, I want it to be like, oh, this band sucks. This is too polished, too poppy. But like next thing I know, dude, I'm going to Best Buy and buying my own copy of this album. So
He's such a good singer too. It's such
Yeah.
a unique pop punk record as well. Oh, that's right. Dance is on here too.
yeah, this
And the
this is a good
songs I'm thinking
record.
of is a little less 16 Candles, a little more Touch Me, and then 7 Minutes in Heaven is another one.
Yeah.
Dude, all of their songs have like full titles. The first track is called "Our Lawyer Made Us Change the Name of the Song So We Wouldn't Get Sued." Yeah, definitely like some early mid 2000s humor going on here. So yeah, I think it's a great record. It might even make my top 50 as well. Top 10 is I I can see someone doing it. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to hate on it too much. I can see this and Paramore, I feel like are in the same vein where it's like personally not me, but I understand why someone would. So
I feel like we'd have to establish the parameters. Like, is our list like our personal top 50 favorite, or is it like top 50 most important, top 50? You know what I
I think
mean?
it would
Like,
be, yeah, because this one is I think most important. That's
yeah,
what they're.
this like then I'm okay with it here.
I'm okay with it. It's just most important. But if we're saying most important, and they're also adding these deep cuts that no one gives a fuck about,
Yeah,
like acceptance, that's weird.
Mhm.
And what else? And also picking "Duh" by Lagwagon, and there's no "Let's Talk About Feelings." There's like, which I feel like would be way more important than "Duh."
Yeah, they mentioned May 17th.
Yeah, they mentioned May 17th.
The song, but
and,
not the album.
yeah, I mean, Leche makes sense if we're going important. Bound
Yeah.
from Souls makes sense, but it's a weird list when you really think about what we've journeyed through. But I
Yeah.
guess we'll go to number 3 here. Okay, this is not a pop punk record. Maybe some people would say it is.
I think wait, this is like one of the first pop punk out. Like, you got to think that like in the 1980s, pop punk is different than what we qualify it as nowadays. Like the other punk bands in like 1982, they weren't playing stuff like this.
No,
It probably
it's
was
a super unique record. It's
Yeah.
just like if
I think it should be here, man. I think this is one of the most important
That's
pop punk
wild.
albums.
I
of
don't
all
know
time.
if it should be here. It's 80s hardcore to me. Like I understand some of the songs are different. It were the Ramones if we're talking about pop punk at this
They
point,
might,
you know.
yeah, you're right, like because it number 1, 2 has got to be Dookie Enema. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
that
Yeah.
that is
So
yeah,
we're-
I get that.
Because I mean, like the Ramones are. I understand it's like that's like a totally different era, but it didn't come that far after the Ramones. This Descendants record, and it's way harder.
Was there no Ramones?
So I mean, there is not a single Ramones record.
okay, then it's weird. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. And I understand a lot of people want to call this the first pop punk record, and I'm fine if you want to say that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put. I would put what's it called? Oh my gosh, the one with the record All by them. Over this, it's a little more of in the pop punk vein, I feel like, than Milo Goes to College. If
Yeah.
we're talking about Descendants 80s records.
Yeah, the more I think about it, like if you're gonna go Milo Goes to College, you need self-titled Ramones. You need probably
Yeah.
even like Suffer, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it might even put Suffer in there. Yeah.
You kind of. This is weird given the rest of the list.
I feel like it doesn't belong personally. I mean, like, great record. Like, I fucking love this record so much. But it would make more sense for the 1987 All record to be here over That one. And Everything Sucks makes sense.
I don't see.
So
I think if you're gonna put one, it's this one, because I'm not sure like a lot of those late '80s, early '90s bands exist without this. But I think that they've kind of ignored that for the larger part of this list.
yeah, exactly. Because I mean, like the Descendants wouldn't exist without Rocket to Russia or the self-titled Ramones record. So,
Yeah, it's
up
weird.
it's up to you. I mean, I wouldn't put it here. Great record, like amazing record, like a 10 out of 10 '80s punk record. So,
I don't
but
have, I don't have a problem with it, but it's confusing given the contents of the rest of the list. That's what I'll say.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We'll move on here. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
we know what's up.
We know it's yeah. So two, Enema is two, and Dookie is one.
Yeah.
What if Dookie wasn't one? What if it was like I don't know. I was trying to think of like some obscure band you could throw on here. It was like fuck, what are they called? Like Stellar Cart or something like that, or Sidewalk Slam was number one. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
I mean, this is 1 and 2. This would
Yeah,
be
no,
this
100%.
this
Yeah,
was
you can't-
1
you
and
can't
2
argue it.
on my list that I made
Yeah.
a couple years ago. Yes.
So I mean, if it's most important, it makes sense you would do like Descendants, Blink, and Green Day. Those are the three most influential pop punk bands of all time. So
I just want to read.
greatest, yeah.
It doesn't say anything about important. It just says
It
greatest.
says greatest, so I don't know. It doesn't say my favorite, so I'd say greatest. It feels like greatest just means most influential, most important at this point. I feel like.
Yeah. But yeah, well, let's wrap this up here. We went through all 50. This is I don't know what the time running is, well over an hour. So, guys, let us know what do you think of this list overall? Do you think that the Descendants, it should be here realistically, but do you think it makes sense given the rest of the list? Is there anything glaring that you felt shouldn't be here, or anything you disagreed with our take? Put it down in the comments. But Ellie, overall, just summarize, what are your overall feelings of this list?
It feels a bit scattered. It feels a bit misplaced. It makes more sense sometimes when you think of it as most important pop punk records, but then other times it makes no sense because they go for these weird deep cuts.
Yeah.
So I would say like 50% of this I agree with, but yeah, I mean, let us know, as well if you want us to see us do our top 50, and we can do like you said one by one. I was thinking maybe even side by side, and we just kind of speed it up and go through
Multiple parts too could do.
Yeah, we could do we could do part 1, part 2, and do that super cut.
Yeah.
So.
But
yeah, let's wrap it up.
Overall,
yeah, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say overall, it's way better than I thought it would
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
I think they did a pretty decent job. I think they hit most of the important ones. There's some that I don't totally disagree on, but I mean, it's music is subjective. Like somebody said on Instagram, it's art. It's not a competition, right?
Yeah, art is not a sports competition.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we'll wrap it up here, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you join the Discord so you can suggest other videos like this, and click the link down below to our limited run store if you want to help support the channel. But yeah, we'll see you all next time.
peace out.